You just gonna lay down next to me? I don't think I can do a video with a cat foot in the screen. Hey guys, it's Kate. I am here with kind of a special video today. So I am doing this Derwent Watercolor 42 pencil set. I'm gonna do an unboxing and swatch and a little bit of a painting with them on the suggestion of one of my lovely commenters. I actually picked this up at an antique mall not that long ago, and when I picked it up, I think I got it for $10 or $15 used. And so this set, I'm going to open it up, but it is well loved. There are a few pencils missing, I think 6 total. I did put them in order, and I contacted their customer service because I couldn't really find any manufacturer information about it. It has that it was made in Great Britain. It's artist quality colored pencils, water soluble and light fast. And contacted their customer service. They had information to me in just the blink of an eye, basically. So shout out to Derwent's customer service. But apparently this particular set started manufacturing in 1983 and ended in 1990 when the full set started to get 72 colors. So the recording of this is in 2023, so we could be at the 40th anniversary of the creation of this palette. And I got this quite some time ago and have not used it until today, so we're going to do this together. So I created a little bit of a swatch paper, and I have all of the colors that I do have on here. So I wrote myself a note. The ones I don't have are Orange Chrome, Pink Madder Lake, Magenta, Ultramarine, Spectrum Blue, Mineral Green, and French Gray. So I won't be able to swatch those, but all of the rest of them I will. So let's get to it. Okay, so I'm going to start grabbing each pencil. I'm going to write or draw a little bit in each of these squares, and then I'm going to go through and swatch them all, and then we are going to have ourselves a little painting fun. Now, I don't normally use a lot of watercolor pencils or really colored pencils, so this is going to be kind of a new experience for me, but when I saw these at the store, I just really wanted to get them and try them out, and they are writing really beautifully. They're pretty pigmented, like you can see there. I'm leaving myself a little bit of space on the right hand side so that I can bring out that color with some plain water and see how it spreads across the page. And I am using 100% cotton paper, and it is B watercolor paper. But these colors are just very rich. I love this rose pink. And it goes on, it's just got this quality. It's almost like, it would almost work as a neutral in a way. I'm gonna really enjoy using that one, I think. Here we are with Madder Carmine. Whoops. Imperial Purple. Dark Violet, and you can see just as they go down on the paper, they're just very rich. I really enjoy these, and I can't think of a better buy. Now, you can't buy these, you know, at the store down the road anymore, but I have seen some on eBay, and they're really not bad. I think I saw a few used sets, and they're usually missing maybe 1 or 2 colors, and I've seen them for around $50. So I got mine for kind of a steal at 10 or 15 bucks. Now, I am missing a few, but with what I'll be able to do with these, I am just fine with that. This Kingfisher blue is a nice color. I like that. And then turquoise blue. That's nice too. What I also really like about this set is it seems to have a lot of really nice brown and earthy tones toward the end of this palette. So once I get to those, you'll see them come out. But there's just a lot of nice colors here that you could use for a lot. You've got your bright colors, your really saturated colors, but there's also a lot of really nice muted colors and earth tones in this palette. And so we're getting through. This cedar green, I really, really like that one too. And then we have olive green. And here we are kind of getting into those earthy colors, and they're just beautiful. Bronze, this is another nice one. Sepia. Burnt umber. And I'm really excited to see how these go on with water. Van Dyke brown. And then golden brown, which is a nice lighter color. I mean, there's a really nice selection of browns. Copper beech. Burnt sienna. Terracotta, which, boy, that is definitely terracotta on the money. Here's ivory black. And then I really like this one. This is blue gray, and that's another nice kind of neutral color. And then we've got this other gray, it's gunmetal. I don't have the French gray. I think, yep, that's 41. So the last one is 42. This is Chinese white, and you're really not going to be able to see this, but I'll just go ahead and swatch it anyway. And this has been well used. I think it's the shortest pencil out of all of them. This one and the ivory black. So black and white, most popular for whoever owned this palette last. All right, so I've got my water right here. I'm gonna start doing the swatches. Okay, let's go on in. Zinc yellow. That's nice. And that's kind of a light color. And here's gold. And that's pretty saturated as well. It's amazing how just they pop as soon as water hits them and gets that activated. This deep cadmium, that is a very bright yellow. It's really golden. Next is the middle chrome. And that spreads pretty nice. These are just really bright and saturated so far. Scarlet Lake, wow, that really goes. That spreads quite a bit. Deep vermilion. That's nice too. And this rose pink, it's just so faint, but just a really pretty color. I really like it. I think this is going to be one I'll enjoy using. Madder carmine, that's very rich. Imperial purple, and that one likes to travel. You can see it spread out pretty much right away as soon as the brush hits it. Some of the reds and purples I noticed do that with watercolors. They spread a lot more than others. This dark violet does the same. And then the light violet, that's a nice shade too. It's kind of really faint, kind of like this rose pink. So if you're looking for just some subtle colors, that works. But you could probably get it a lot richer looking by drawing right in wet paper instead of dry paper, or by dipping your pencil in water and then drawing with it. This light blue is really pretty too. Prussian blue. Oh my, that Prussian blue. Hello, blue. Look at that. That's a nice, nice color. Indigo. Oh, it's kind of like Payne's Gray. Kingfisher blue. It's like a sky blue. Another light one. And turquoise. Which is funny, in this set, turquoise is such a light color, but I have the Mozart Kohlrabi palette, and that is a very dark, rich turquoise. But I like the light one too. This jade green is really nice and rich also. And then bottle green. That's also nice. Emerald green. It kind of has like a neon quality almost. And then May green. That's really bright also. Okay, cedar green. This is where we get into those nice dark earthy colors, and they're really beautiful. Olive green is another good one. And they're just really pigmented. I mean, I just colored little blocks and it's really spreading out nicely. So you could almost go on here and, you know, if you wanted to do a square, you could use it like a watercolor from a palette. So you could get a square going on a piece of scrap paper to the side and dip into it with your brush to do your painting if you didn't want to draw right on your page. So this would be really good to use for a lot of different types of projects. You could either use your your direct marks with the pencil. You can also apply your brush to the pencil. You could do pencil on wet paper, which would be very pigmented, and I'm going to try to do a couple of different things. I'll do a simple little painting and just kind of test out some of these colors and kind of draw into some wet paper and all of that. Maybe do some brush on the pencil. That copper beech is a really rich color. So is this burnt sienna. That's nice too. And I've got just a few more to go. But this is a beautiful set. I'm kind of sad I don't have the last few colors. But for someone who hasn't really used, colored pencils a lot, this is going to be wonderful to play with. And I'll definitely be using this in mixed media. This blue-gray I really like. It's just such a nice color. I like all of these really, but these bottom two rows, I mean, that's where it's at if you want something nice and earthy, for sure. And the gunmetal color is nice as well. And Chinese white, invisible, but we'll swatch it. So what do you think? I think we have a heck of a palette going, and I love how pigmented these are. And these are artist grade, artist quality. So let me put this aside and I'll use it as a little bit of a reference too and make a painting. Let's do one together. Okay, I am back and I grabbed a little color palette to start with. So I grabbed number 9, which is the rose pink. I grabbed 29, which is olive green. I grabbed 35, copper beech, 20, indigo, and 34, golden brown. So let's get started. All right, I'm going to start with this golden brown, and I'm just going to make some circles here. And I'm not going to make them too dark because these are going to be the background of my painting. So I'm just kind of going light, going from the side with the pencil and giving it kind of a light covering before I go into it with water. And if there are some pencil marks once I go over with the water, that's fine with me. And I'm going to alternate the size of my circles also. So next up is 35. I'll go in with the copper beech. And this is a little bit of a darker brown. And I'm just going into a couple of places here. I'm going to make a big one up here. And I'm going to overlap it just a little bit with this other circle. Okay, next up, let's go in with the green. This is 29, olive green. And I'm going to make a big one right here. And then another one here. And let's go in with one down here. It's kind of lonely. And maybe one here. And then I'm going to go in with this rose pink. And since this is such a light color, when it's swatched, I'm going to be a little bit heavier on this one to really get that pigment in there. And I'm going to color this in more fully. And I can always go back through with more pigment if it's not enough. And I really love this rose pink. It might be one of my favorites of the whole box. And I'm just making a very abstract type of background. And I'm using more of this pink than the other colors also. So, what do you think of that? I like it so far. So now I'm going to go in with my water for a first layer. I think I'm going to use my cat's tongue. Hopefully it's not too big. I've got another brush next to me. It's a number 4 that I was using for the swatching, but I'll go in with the cat's tongue first. And even with the light coating, it just looks so nice, and you can see the colors blending a little bit around the edges, which I like. I'm going to pick up a little bit more water and clean my brush. I like the blends, but I also don't want it to be too muddy. So we have some more green. And that's my Scampi girl crying in the background for some attention. She is a very vocal girl. I just love how these are laying down and blowing up with the pigments. Oh, it's just rich. olive green is really nice too. Now I'm just trying to do kind of a nice muted background, and I'm saving the pink for last. That way I can keep that pretty pure. All right. I'm just getting that color in there. And it's turning out really nice. You can see the blends. I'm just going in with the water. And I might even add a hint more pink to this as well. Right from the pencil. So I'm going to pick up my other brush, my number 4 that I was using for swatching. And I'm going to take paint right off the pencil. And I'm going to go in some of these circles just to give it a little bit more color on the outside, like that. I like how subtle it is. It's just really beautiful in person. Hopefully the camera is picking it up enough. It's almost like a neutral. Just really faint. And I'm just picking up a little bit more water as I need it. And going back in on this painting. There. What do you think? Okay, now I'm going to let this dry. This will be my first layer. And then I'm going to come back in with my indigo over the top. And I chose it because it's just a really beautiful dark color. And I think it'll go really nicely with this background. So I'll be right back. Okay, I am back and we're dry. So I'm going to head in, I'm going to head in with this indigo. And so I am going to do just a little leaf motif. And so I'm going to come up through the center like this. And I'm going to have a couple other little branches kind of coming out to the side. Let's have this one come right about there. All right. And I'm going to go over this pretty dark. I want it to be more pigmented and more contrast with the background. Like this. Okay. Now I'm gonna come in here and just do some little teardrops. And I'm gonna color these in so that they're pretty dark. Like that. Maybe another one coming right off of here. And then, how about right here, right there. Just like that. And I'm just going over this, making sure I have solid coverage in all of these leaves because I want it to really come out from the background and see how dark these colors can get. And so I'll get these colored in also. And then I'm going to add shorter one maybe right here. And color these in as well. This is a pretty good little thing we've got going on. And it's so simple. And maybe I'll have a little leaf coming off right there. How's that? I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to get my number 4 and dip it into the water, and here we have our moment of truth. I'm going to start from the top down so that I don't get my hand in the water and smear it all over the page. And look at that activate. Now I'm going to be pretty careful, but not too careful, because I can always come back in with it being wet and go over it with some more pencil. But this is just really nice and dark. What do you think of this? And I'm just barely touching it with the tip of my brush. I want to get it activated, but I don't want to spread it around too much. I want to keep those sharp edges. Nice. What do you think? And just touching it with the tip, getting it wet, and letting it just come together and activate. I gotta say, I really love these pencils. I mean, look at the difference here versus down here. That water just makes all the difference. And you don't need much. I'm just barely touching it. It's just the act of getting it wet. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with these. And it's just so rich. And I'm probably going to have to do some sort of metallic on here. I mean, it's not a Kate Miles video if I don't break out gold marker or something. Especially after being on a quest for the perfect ones, which I have a few more that I need to try. I have a problem, and that problem is too many supplies to try. It's a good problem to have, but also I think there comes a point where you have too many supplies, you can't use them all. But I'm just on a quest to find my favorites, and then I can just buy those. All right. What do you think of that? I think that looks pretty good. And it pops off the background just like I wanted. That contrast is something. Okay, I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to come back again and darken up a few more things, and then I'm going to break out the metallics. see you in a minute. Okay, we're dry again, and I have the indigo pencil. So what I'm gonna do is, and this is an experiment, so hopefully it turns out okay. I'm gonna dip this just a little bit in water and go over a couple of these little leaves that didn't get quite as dark, and I just want to see how it works dipped in water. So I have my jar back here, and I'm just giving it just a quick little dunk. And I'm just going to go, oh my, look at that. Wow. It just activates, I mean, immediately. That is something. And I'm just going to do a couple of these. I don't want to get the whole paper wet again. But that is amazing. Now it does kind of get like a little bit of a, almost like a little bit of a crumbly texture, so you have to go light. Otherwise, I suppose you could knock off the whole pencil lead onto your paper, because it almost gets like a creamy texture. So I'm going to leave that be just like that. I just wanted to darken up a couple. I'm going to go back in with my brush and just see if that spreads anymore, which it looks like it kind of wants to stay put. So if you're wet, it may just want to be left alone, which is okay. So now I'm going to go in with a couple of things. So normally I would do gold. I just tend to gravitate toward it more, but I think for this I'd really like to use silver. And I got these Artistro paint marker pens on Amazon, and I think I'm going to use this. And this is one of the ones I reviewed recently from Dollar Tree, and this is almost like a rose gold, but you know, being Dollar Tree, it didn't actually have a color on the package, so we'll just go ahead and call this rose gold. It's pinkish and it's metallic, but very lightly metallic, and so I'm just going to put a few small details on this just for some extra contrast. So I thought these would look pretty nice together with this indigo and background. So we'll start in with this, and I'm just going to do some small dots, and I'm going to start low and space them fairly close together, but I'm also going to leave some room for silver, and I'm going to sort of have a curving motion with these also. And then I'll get a little further apart as we get up to the top. And I'm going to put some more right over here. And I'm going to go through these leaves, move over this way, and space them out more as I get toward the top, like that. Now I'm going to go in with the silver. Same way. Let me just make sure I have the color, and I'm going to come right in here in that sort of rose gold and make some silver dots. And work that through. And I'm going to have less and more spread out toward the top. And I'm going to add some more down here to kind of thicken it a little bit and bring some to this side too. I don't want it just to be sort of cut off at the border of the plants. So I'm going to come back in with this a little bit too. There. Same thing on this side. Just add a little bit extra. Oh, shoot. Don't shake your pen when your lid is off. That was a rookie move. Okay, so this little corner, that's the only casualty, so I'm okay. And I'm just trying to be sort of careful. Not like when I was shaking it with the lid off, of course. Can't believe I did that. And then add a few more up here. All right. I think that might about do it. Let's see. Do I want to do any bigger ones maybe with the silver? Yeah, I think I do. But just a few. That adds a little bit of variety. And you know what they say about variety is supposed to be the spice of life. At least that's what I hear. So we'll add some. I do like silver. Yeah. I think that looks pretty good. Well, you've been with me through it all. We've been through a lot together today. We did our swatches. We talked about the history a little bit, which I think is just amazing that these pencils could be 40 years old and they must work like they just came out yesterday. Hi, Scampi. My cat's meowing in the background. She says hello. So it's just amazing that these are so old and perform so well still. So I highly encourage you, if you want to try Derwent and you want to get in at a lower price point, and work with some really cool vintage color, I would highly recommend this set. And if you search on eBay, or maybe you get lucky and find it in your local antique mall like I did, it is just a really fun set to play with, and I think this is going to give me a lot of enjoyment in the future. So stay tuned for more videos as I start using more colored pencils and watercolor pencils. So I really hope you enjoyed this video today. Please give me a like if you found this valuable, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Until then, keep creating.